Are you currently riding the wave on SMCI, or do you want to look to get in to ride the wave on SMCI? In this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down what I see on the chart. All right, so what you're seeing in front of you is the weekly chart. And I drew a channel here. Basically, a channel just touches some significant swing points. And so that's the bottom channel. And then I kind of drew a parallel line on top of it, right? So you can see most of the time it was in the middle of that channel until it hit that spot where there's a little arrow there that I put. And it was outside of the channel, but then it broke out on a big volume week. This is a weekly chart. And so as soon as it broke out on that big volume week, you can see it went from about, 100, 110 or something like that. In the next 4 weeks, it went to 200. Now, that's a pretty significant run. That's almost a double, right? It's about probably an 85% increase. So there are certain times where stocks, like, they kind of just cruise along and then they step up. And as soon as they step up, they just take off and then they make another step. And so is SMCI doing that? That's the question. So you're seeing it go up, and then it kind of hung around and made a step for a long time. Now, on January 3rd, 2024, I came out with my predictions for 2024. Now, I don't like making predictions, but a lot of people were like, well, what do you think the stock market's going to do? So I made, based on what I saw as probabilities on certain charts, a prediction. I think I picked 6 or 7 stocks. Well, 2 of them within the next 6 weeks were unbelievably higher. One of them was NVIDIA, and the other one is SMCI. And so you can look at this chart. This is a weekly, and you can see there's this little spot in here where it kind of consolidated. Now, in a second, I'm going to show you. So you're seeing that stock broke out, and I'm going to show you the next chart. Let's look at the daily. So you can see this daily, I drew this little kind of a consolidation. It was a very long consolidation from the swing point of 357 down to like a $228, $225 swing point, something like that. It just went back and forth in the air for a long time. I mean, that's, 6-7 months. January 3rd, I said, no, keep an eye out, because that 357 is the spot where it wants to break out. And just a couple weeks later, it broke out. Now, one of the things that I want to point out to you is looking at the volume at the bottom. So you can see this stock had a personality change when it started to break out here. It went to 23 million shares, and its average was really around 2.93 million shares, something like that. You see a huge breakout, and then all of a sudden, all the volumes subsequent to that were high. So everybody said, hey, we better get in it. And there was a FOMO trade, and everybody jumped in. And so you're seeing that on the chart. Now, the stock went from 357 all the way up to, $1,200, $1,300. So it, tripled essentially. Now, we did come out, I will say, that, early February and said, look, it's time to take some or all of your profit off the table. I think we were like 760. It was a double at the time. And so, if you did that a little bit early, you missed the run up a bit, but then you also missed all this back and forth that's been going on since then. And so to me, the question of do you want to ride this wave depends on how long you want to be in SMCI. Now, from what I understand about SMCI, and I have to be honest with you, I don't know a complete ton about the stock, but I can tell you, what I do know is that they make kind of the server configurations for AI. You need the hardware to go along with the other hardware for AI, the chips, right? So you need the rigs to be able to do this artificial intelligence computations, and SMCI is in that business. So that's why the stock is taken off. So everything's kind of gets swept into this AI, stream. And so you can too. Now, a lot of people look at this and go, you know what? The stock's at, $1,000, $1,100. It's too late. I missed it. But you really didn't miss it, because if you could have said that at any point, you could have said that at $60 on SMCI. Going back to the weekly, let's look at the weekly. Let's go all the way back to 2018. This stock was at $10. You could have made that case any point that you missed it. Now, I'm not saying this is the spot. I'm just saying that mentality keeps you out of getting into big super stocks like SMCI and NVIDIA, because those stocks are going higher based on all of the momentum in the business, right? The earnings momentum, the sales momentum, the AI momentum, the excitement. And so sometimes they can get unreasonably priced for an unreasonably long amount of time. What I think is happening with SMCI, and going back to the daily, you can see it a little easier, is in this area right in here, from about 750 to 800, you're seeing a consolidation all the way up to about, let's call it 1100, kind of where it is now. And so that's an area where there's a lot of fighting between the buyers and the sellers trying to decide whether it should go higher. Now, usually the stock will consolidate if that's a legitimate stair step. Let's call it a stair step. So, we've got people that have made a bunch of money, they took their profit off the table, they're freaked out that it's going to keep going lower, it might go higher. they haven't made a decision. But that decision-making period creates a consolidation. When that consolidation gets long enough, let's say 5 weeks or more, then it makes a base. Now that base has got all the old sellers out of it that are, they can't handle it, and it's got new buyers in there that are ready for the next move. And so that might be the spot where we have a jumping off point, and you might see a 20 to 25% jump in the next, several months, as long as we continue to have a green market. So the 25% jump from that is, it's $1,350, $1,400 for SMCI. Now, could it go back and test its 50-day moving average? Yeah, they do that all the time. Look at this 50-day. It's all the way down here at under 600. Could it go back and test the 200? Sure, it could. We get a bear market. We get a red market. It could go back to, 360 or whatever that is, 350. And it could test that. I don't think it's going to test that. I think it's a new stock now. It's changed its personality. I think the stock is, here to stay above the 50-day moving average from today all the way up to 1,200. I think it's consolidating. If you want to ride the SMCI wave, take a look at it in here. Set your stops tight because this thing's going to move all over the place and you don't want to get hammered. But take a look at this little stair step, this little consolidation as a good jumping off point for the next base.
Hi, Mark Yagi here, wealth architect and author of this book on my covered call investing system called the Cash Flow Machine. Listen, what you just saw is just one part of creating reliable income of 2 to 4% a month from the stock market. But if it were that easy, then everyone would do it, right? If you want to learn how I create investment income the right way, then you need to learn and have a system with rules and what-if strategies so that you can learn what I do when the market goes against me, what I do when the stock goes against me, how to adjust my trade so that it's always in a winning position, how much to risk, how to build a multi-million-dollar portfolio that creates income of $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 a month in semi-passive income. And best of all, the whole cash flow machine system takes less than an hour a week to implement. Just go to cashflowmachine.io to learn more, or click this link for more videos, masterclasses, and free resources. See you there.